Hello and welcome. I'm Mark Morse. Thank you for clicking. Today, as you can tell from my thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about the 3 records I bought from the Beatles 1964 U.S. mono box set. I wasn't able to afford the $300 box set, but luckily for me, they were selling the records by themselves, so you could pick and choose which ones you wanted. If I had the money, if I had a budget for it, I would have definitely bought that box set and would have not had any regrets at all. So if you were able to get that, congratulations to you. I'm sure you're excited. I was originally only going to get 2 records from this box set, but Norman Masloff talked so well of the Beatles Hard Day's Night record that I ended up getting that one too. So I got 3. So these are the ones I got. I got Meet the Beatles, then their second album, and then, like I mentioned before, I broke down and I got this one too. And don't these just look really good? I don't regret buying them at all. Maybe someday in the future I'll purchase the other ones. I don't know. When I say I have a budget, I don't follow a budget at all. I buy way too many records, and then I'm living on crackers and water until the next paycheck, and then I do it all over again. But I'm trying to get a little better at it. But I have a really hard time with Beatles records. When new stuff comes out with the Beatles, it's very tough for me to resist it. And I'm sure you've seen these things unboxed a million times by now. I do love the packaging a lot. The old time sleeves in there with what was being offered at the time. All this recording information about the records. It's all, I do love the packaging, and then it's on the Capitol rainbow label. And then the big thing for me is just having copies of these that are in just, mint condition. So that's all very exciting to me. The other thing, though, that I like about these things is I have such an emotional attachment to the Beatles that to have another reason to listen to this stuff again, it's just really a joyous thing for me. I was born in 1962, so I wasn't really a first generation Beatle fan, but I had older sisters and brothers who were into the Beatles. I come from a large family of 9. I'm like one of the youngest, 2 of the youngest. I was 2 years old when the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. These were the first records that that were coming into my consciousness as a child. I've told the story before about my sisters talking about when the Beatles came on Ed Sullivan, how even as an infant, I stopped and stared at the screen when the Beatles came on. I have such an emotional attachment to the Beatles. Generally, I'm attracted to the Rubber Soul on up. And so I do not listen to these, especially the American versions, as often. So it was a real treat to get these and then to give me an opportunity to hear them again. And I didn't see that Disney Plus documentary on the Beatles 1964, but I know there was some talk about it, about how the Beatles helped Americans overcome the trauma of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And I'm going to kind of take that and take it in a little more personal manner. I think the Beatles helped me through my own traumas as a child. And I don't think everybody has to have these major traumas to appreciate the Beatles. But I wanted to read this little thing from the lyrics to Rock and Roll by Velvet Underground, Lou Reed. And there's always a line in here that really resonates with me. And I know Lou Reed said the Beatles were garbage, but Lou Reed said a lot of things. So let me do this. So from the song Rock and Roll by Velvet Underground. Jenny said when she was just 5 years old, there was nothing happening at all. Every time she puts on the radio, there was nothing going down at all. Not at all. Then one fine morning, she put on a New York station. You know, she couldn't believe what she heard at all. She started shaking to that fine, fine music. You know, her life was saved by rock and roll. That's how I feel about the Beatles. It may be a bit of hyperbole. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But music really gave me an outlet, and it gave me an identity. You know, instead of being the weird, quiet kid in class, I became the guy who really loved the Beatles. And if you're going to hook your wagon to a star, you might as well go for the top. And the Beatles, they gave me solace in my life, and I just loved sitting in my room listening to these records. I'm not an audiophile by any means. They sound good to me, but that's not really why I enjoy these so much. I love the music so much. I could listen to them on a Crossley record player, and I think I'd enjoy them almost as much. I just love the music, what it does to me. I listen to these. I was going to listen to one a night. I ended up listening to all three the same night, and then a day or two later I listened to all three again, and then I started playing some of my other Beatle records. Now these are the Beatle records that came into America. This is how the United States got these records. So these are how we remember them. These are how I remember them. Later, as I got older, I got the UK versions of these records, and I will say they are superior. I think they're better records. I think that's what the artist intended. But there's something to say about these records, and it goes beyond nostalgia and sentimentality, though that's a big part of it for me. I am one of those older guys who just hold on to these precious memories that I am so thankful that the Beatles came along, and then of course all the other music and stuff for me, and they really got me out of my shell, started me thinking about in other ways, and then to hear these early ones again, it's just, I just love it. Out. These are the ones that were in the set. So Meet the Beatles was in there. The Beatles' second album was in there. A Hard Day's Night. Those are the three I got. And then the Beatles Story, I have that. That's the one, it's a double LP where just a lot of interviews and fans' reactions, that kind of stuff. Something New, Beatles 65 and the early Beatles. I have all those. And I had this, but the one I had of this was actually the Japan Flag series. And then the other versions I have were the With the Beatles. The UK version. So I wanted a nice US version of this. Another Norman Maslow influence. He goes on and on about what a great little rock and roll record this is, and it really is. Look at that track listing. Mr. Maslow talked me into getting this. I've heard contrary, some people saying that they don't like the remastered, some say they're great. They sound fine to me. I'm happy to have them. That's all I have to say about this today. I wanted to talk about these records. I said a long time ago I would do a video when I decided which records I was going to buy. Those are the three I bought. And I just wanted to give kind of a more of a gut reaction to these records. No, these records mean a lot to me, and it was nice to hear them again. It gave me another opportunity to listen to them with fresh ears. I don't want to end this video without talking about John Lennon. Today is, at the recording of this, is December 8th, 2024. This is the day that John Lennon was assassinated back in 1980. But I love this Andy Warhol production here, so I wanted to hold up something a little different for John Lennon on the day he was assassinated. And John Lennon was probably, after my brother Terry, probably my first hero, somebody who I really looked up to and really listened to as somebody who was wise in the world. I miss you, John. My life was saved by rock and roll. Thank you so much.